Just ahead on Crossroads, one local organization is letting its light shine to honor veterans.
Winter is coming. Layla Price and Fire Chief Paul David share some safety tips for the cold.
Some local men are actually cooking, and it's all for a good cause.
And see how the Heart Song Show Chorus adds a little dance to their musical scales. It's all just ahead on Crossroads.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Crossroads. I'm Randall King.
And I'm Shaylee Clark.
And here we are back in the studio. It does seem like it's been a while, hasn't it?
It has. It seemed a very long time.
I'm looking back on some of our scenes here, and I see the one for harvesting in fall. That's the one that seems appropriate. Just take your pick which season. It's all back there.
And don't you love fall? I've enjoyed being outside for it.
And I love fall in Indiana. I mean, you know, it's very, very colorful, and it's very, very seasonable right now. It's not cold yet.
Yeah, we got the leaves, we got corn mazes, which a lot of other states think that's the most bizarre thing.
That is really cool.
I've grown up doing this all the time, but it's a fun time, October.
Yeah, it is, and we won't talk about winter. Well, we will talk about winter, of course. It is coming, and we've got something in the show talking about that. But one of the other good things about this time of year is it's the season of veterans, and we remember veterans in Grant County year-round in lots of different ways. But with Veterans Day approaching, there's kind of a month-long emphasis on things.
Yeah, and I've always heard people around here say that specifically Grant County really honors veterans more, and especially with this time of the year, we start thinking about veterans more specifically and way to honor those, you know, who have served. And there's a local organization that has been taking remembering to a whole new level. Stephanie McCracken learned that some volunteers headed out to the Marion National Cemetery and let a light shine.
And which way you want me to go?
On the left, and just work your road. A Saturday morning at the cemetery, poking holes and placing solar lights, all in honor of veterans.
It's just such a sense of pride, knowing that you do something for the veterans that gave their lives for us.
Well, being a Indiana Guards member for 26 years currently, I figured I'd come and help and put lights on fallen brethren.
Let My Light Shine is in its 5th year of putting solar lights at the headstones in Marion National Cemetery. Though there are over 12,000 graves at the cemetery, the organization has raised enough for about 2,800 lights this year.
The solar light actually represents the eternal flame that is set on President Kennedy's grave. And currently we are the only national cemetery in the United States that has this idea and are doing what we do.
We were so thankful for all the people that came. We had motorcycle groups from the Legions. We had individual people that have loved ones buried here that they actually got to take the light and put it on the grave of their loved one. May not be in all the sections that we did today. It might be clear over on the other side of the cemetery, but they got to put that light on and it touched their heart and it made them feel good.
After a month of being illuminated, the lights have to be disassembled and packed away for the next year. But with the word out, these volunteers hope they have more lights for next year.
I don't know what it means to the community, but I know our veterans appreciate it, and that's really all that matters. And if our little handful of people can make a difference for them, then that's what it's all about.
It lets their light shine for what they did for us.
It's something as small as a light, placed to illuminate a sacrifice and shine bright at Marion National Cemetery. For Crossroads, I'm Stephanie McCracken.
And Shaylee, just looking at that, the lights make quite a statement, but I'm just as impressed by all the people out placing them.
Yeah, there were so many people. I think they said about 60 people just showed up for maybe they had family members who are veterans or they came from all over. And I think the farthest they said, like Kokomo, Gary, people all came down for this.
Grant County has always responded well. It's had a lot of loss for veteran families and just a lot of service. And you see that, you hear that in the emotion of people. And if you'd like to donate to this organization, you can go to www.letmylightshine. You see it there on your screen.org, Let My Light Shine with the hyphens there. And you can learn how to donate and really help them create more of those lights for all the different gravestones.
Yeah, they said each light costs approximately $10.
And the National Cemetery cemetery itself, I mean, we don't say this enough, but anyone who's been to Arlington or another cemetery, they're all uniform, they're all the same, but just that statement that you see that long row and realize these are people that have served the country and made the ultimate sacrifice, that in itself is impressive.
And I love how we are able to, support that here in Marion too, as well.
Well, when we come back, we'll get some winter safety tips from Layla Price and the Fire Chief of Marion.
We learn all about weather-wise. Well, welcome back to Crossroads. Fall's in the air, and that can only mean one thing, that winter is near.
Don't say that.
So Layla Price from the City of Marion and Marion Fire Chief Paul David join us to talk about a new project and help you prepare for the upcoming cold. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So winter last year, it hit us pretty hard.
Pretty hard, yeah. It was pretty scary.
The understatement of the year. So what has that caused you guys to do? I know you guys are starting this new campaign, all because of that. So kind of explain what you're doing.
Sure. We got together with a lot of community partners and resources to just talk about how we could prepare our residents for another really bad winter. I mean, we were using words like winter polar vortex, and I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but forecasters are saying that we are going to get more snow and it is going to be colder, so colder than normal. So we just want to make sure that our residents of Marion know what is out there for them.
Chief, I know being a reporter many years ago and many years that you and Layla have seen this kind of work, you think going into the winter that people know things like space heaters can be dangerous and don't do this. But we constantly find that they don't. So do you find this weather-wise is a great way to kind of be proactive in that?
Absolutely. I think it's a great way to convey our message out to people. And if nothing else, as a reminder to people, even though we've preached it over the years, as you've stated, space heater safety, chimney safety, anything that has to do with a heat source in your home, being furnace, whatever, have them inspected and looked at and checked out, cleaned properly, and make sure you're ready for the winter months ahead in a safe manner.
And like he was saying, we really hit on that every year, the different safety rules. So what are you doing to really get that message across to people this year?
Well, we launched it in the first week of October, and we started a Facebook page. Excuse me. And the Facebook page is facebook.com/weatherwisemarion. And we give a tip of the day every single day. And we launched it, it's been about a month now, and we already have up to 700 likes. So we're really excited that it's gaining rapid popularity. And then on the other hand, we launched a Twitter page, and it's basically the same thing. The Weatherwise Owl gives his tip for the day and gives the sources and more information on, how you can find out more information.
What were some of the things last year that were so brutal and maybe a surprise for those of you who deal with kind of emergency situations?
I'll start off by saying we had, busted water pipes. And I think that...
Always worry about this time of year. Nah.
Yeah.
So, that's the first thing that comes to mind, especially in extreme cold temperatures. The extreme cold temperatures lead to not being able to salt the roads properly, so it's very important to get the proper salt that has the calcium chloride. So just little tidbits like that. We just want to get that information out in a non-overwhelming way. So a tip of the day would just be something to keep in mind as you prepare for winter.
Chief, what would be some things your folks see often?
Well, there was a couple of things actually. Believe it or not, one of the priorities we looked at was the amount of homeless people and what we would do with them in an emergency weather type situation.
And the fire department gets that call sometimes?
Yeah, believe it or not, we've got 5 firehouses in Marion, and sometimes people will stop by there and ask those questions. We had to be prepared to deal with it, working close in hand with Bruce Bender, with the county, come up with an action plan for that as far as shelters go, with the weather being as cold as it was, for those people to be taken care of. And again, reverting back to heat sources. When the weather's that cold, you're overloading your heat sources because they're constantly running, trying to maintain that inside temperature, whatever it may be that you have it set at. So again, that was a big concern for us.
So did you guys learn some lessons from last year then that you really want to implement coming into this new season?
Yeah, actually he mentioned that emergency program that it was COAD, it was Community Organizations Active in Disaster, and that was implemented last year for the first time, and there were, I believe, 6 different shelters that were set up, and 3 of them were in Marion, but the only 3 that were ever used were in Marion. So that's going to be implemented again, and they are talking to the same churches and organizations that are willing to do that. It hasn't been set in stone that it will be the exact same places, but we know the importance of it and we're preparing for that.
What would be some tips that we've seen already? Any of you can think of some? We should be watching the tip of the day, I know.
I know. Well, today it just had to do with heating safety. So I will let Chief David, explain some tips that have to do with heating safety, since it is still Fire Prevention Month.
It is correct. With it being Fire Prevention Month, we always want to get out the message, as we stated a minute ago, to people to make sure if you have a fireplace that you get your chimney checked out and inspected, make sure there's no cracks in the mortar joints, make sure there's no creosote buildup, as well as have your furnace inspected. Make sure it's running efficiently and safely, your filters. And the other key thing I want to mention to people too, with cold weather setting in, you want to make sure you have an operating smoke detector. We just went on a smoke detector drive with the people of Lowe's stores. They donated 302 smoke detectors to the fire department, and we did a campaign and signed up people in Marion for a free smoke detector. We got a Lowe's employee to go with the firefighters to go out in the public and install the smoke detectors. And it was really a great campaign. The Senior Center, I believe we gave out nearly 50 smoke detectors to those people, those individuals, and they had a 10-year battery life on it. So the seniors don't have to worry about changing that smoke detector battery for 10 years. But always test your detector once a month, change the battery once a year, and pick a date that you're going to remember.
And those little things do make a difference.
Oh boy.
There's things that you just say, oh, I'll do that sometime, and then before you know it, you're in a bad situation. Well, if you'd like to keep up with WeatherWise, you can follow it on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search for WeatherWise Marion, as Layla said. That's Twitter at WeatherWise Tips, and Facebook.com/WeatherWise Marion. And I will be looking at that for the tip of the day and reminding myself all the things I haven't done at home. Thank you, Chief, for making me think about pipes now, too. I'll lose a little more sleep tonight. When we come back, we're going to get a taste of a local fundraiser.
We'll see some leading men who cook. Welcome back to Crossroads. So Randall, I've been waiting all show for this segment. You got to hang out with some men who cook.
Now that sounds like you're suspicious. There's actually plenty of men who cook. They just don't know. It's not unusual as it sounds. Grilling, if there's fire involved, we'll do that.
Fire being the key word there.
I'm sure your dad cooks sometimes, right?
Yeah, I guess. Those aren't my favorite dinner nights,
well,
but
there are plenty
does.
There are plenty of men who cook, in fact, fine chefs and everything. But most of us who cook don't do so every day for an audience. But there were a lot of local leaders and well-known personalities who got talked into just that, with kind of pressure on them for the right reasons. Whether their food was excellent or just fair, they gave it a shot for a really good cause, supporting leadership development in Grant County. It's not your everyday food court or your regular cooks hidden behind the wall. The chefs are out of the kitchen and eager to show and tell and serve.
Deep fried pepper bacon. How about some Italian sausage from Chicago? I kept this one in the pan just for you. Carrot cake, sideways cake.
You can't blame them for a little bragging. Most won't be quitting their day jobs anytime soon, and getting ready for this evening was an all-day affair.
Because my wife is so talented in Italian food, she told me exactly what to do.
Many of them have a sous chef that's helping them. A lot of times it's a spouse or a circle of friends, so yeah, they couldn't do it alone for sure.
Diane Harris put these men who cook out for everyone to taste. She didn't know how many would actually come through, but they apparently believed the cause was worth the risk.
Some of the guys love to cook and it was really surprising, and other guys, they're way out of their comfort zone, but they were willing to lend their name to the event and get on board with the cause, so we're really grateful for that.
Lead Inc.'s a great organization, and enjoy opportunity to cook, enjoy supporting local not-for-profits.
The sponsors of Leadership Grant County, something I did in 1993, and really opens the door for people to find out what's going on in the Grant County area.
We can help them with their funding, but the training they do, the programs they do for the young people, absolutely fantastic. The more young people we get involved with leadership, the better our community is going to be.
Buy 5, you get 6 free.
It might have been amateur hour, but at least one pro snuck into the mix. Caterer James Rudolph brought chocolate waffles and a few other treats to the dessert table, meaning many couldn't stop with just one.
I thought it would be a great opportunity, number one, for networking, to get my stuff out there, and it's for a good benefit, because there are men who cook, and we cook very well, thank you.
Real deal or chef for a night, they proved Grant County has no shortage of good eats or good people who give and receive.
I haven't had a dessert yet.
Make sure you come back and hit the bowl. You know, it's for a good cause.
Absolutely.
And we have key lime pie too. You're allowed more than one dessert. I won't tell your mother.
Well, that is just so great. I love how they just owned it. Like, oh, I can't cook. And then the others were, yeah, we're the best.
Some did have a little more experience than others, and some were saying, yeah, she helped me. She helped me early this morning.
Their sous chef.
Their sous chef. That was a great line. Fun event. First time they did it, and they said they're going to do it again. So men who cook.
Can I go?
Call
I mean,
your
that
dad
actually
up.
looked really good. I take back what I said earlier.
Yeah, I was doing it shooting that video at dinner time, and everybody wanted to give me food, and I said no, dinner's waiting at home. But next year.
Good for
next
you.
year. Well, when we come back, one ladies choir is learning the tunes and the moves.
See how the Heart Song Show Chorus is bringing the razzle dazzle to Marion.
Well, welcome back to Crossroads, and Shaylee, we got a little bit of everything this show. In this segment, we get to talk about singing in a choir. Something you've done, maybe?
So many memories. Let's see, high school. I wanted to do a little bit
Did
in
you do the
college.
show choir thing where you had to move and sing?
A little bit.
No.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't do that.
It wasn't easy. I'm not a good dancer. I had the
wasn't a
singing
pretty
part
sight.
down, not the dancing. So I just stuck to regular choral music. But what about you?
Oh, well, you know, I've sung in choirs as recently as a year ago in church. I always love singing with other people. Not too keen on solos, but singing in choral music. I didn't do it in high school. I was more of a band geek kind of guy, but choral music is fun.
Especially when you finally get that song perfect that you've been working on.
Yeah, as long as we don't have to do choreography. Yeah, I do choreography when I talk. That people know that on the show, but not when I sing.
Not when I sing. Well, many people have, love being involved with music programs, but after the college days, their opportunities seem to kind of dwindle down. And the Heart Song Show Chorus gives ladies a chance to share their love of music and a little bit of bling with the whole community.
Not every choir can both hit the notes and step to the rhythm. But the Heart Song Show Chorus makes sure to master the pitch while perfecting the jazz hands. Director Zoe Hagee knows that sometimes the feet are harder to train than the vocal cords.
A lot of the girls say, I can't do that, but we have girls that work side by side with you. There are so many music leaders in the group that can help learn notes, they help learn choreography. It's just a great group.
For choreographer Danielle Ellenberg, it's not just about moving, but finding the perfect moves for each lyric.
The biggest thing is our moves kind of go along with the song that we're singing, and it's kind of a thing where our movement kind of enhances what we're doing.
This blingy choir is part of the Sweet Adelines International Organization. They were previously called the Christmas City Choir, but changed the name after realizing they represented 10 different counties.
We really love it because Heart Song really does say what music means to us. It is music of the heart.
This is the first year the choir hosted the Bling Fling Cabaret, where they were able to show their hard work to friends and family.
Tonight was important because we were allowed to have more time to connect with the audience, not only on the risers singing, but also just going out there, talking to them. So I feel like we got to make a really good personal connection with members of the audience that came tonight.
The ladies enjoy using their music to connect with their audience and letting the music connect them with each other.
This chorus, the friendship and the bond that we have is incredible. Like, these ladies are like my other aunts, they're like my sisters. Like, you walk into the room at practice and you feel so incredibly loved, and the ladies in the chorus are there ready to always talk to you, and they want to know what's going on in your life.
There's a connection that you have with music when you are together and you're singing together. It's very uplifting, and we're a great support system for each other.
And this group always makes sure to razzle-dazzle the audience with their bling.
It's a Sweet Adeline thing. A lot of Sweet Adelines, if it's got sequins and shiny stuff on it, we're there.
When we do stage work, we're always in sequence, you know. I mean, that's just Sweet Adelines. You're in sequence all the time, you know.
Through every note and step, the choir will continue sharing the music inside them with others, growing closer every day in their sisterhood.
You know, after their concert, they all came up to me and like, "Oh, you should join."
Yeah, there you go.
The only thing I was thinking was, I don't know if I can move like that.
I was thinking the only limitation I would have on joining, so maybe I can audition.
Yeah, maybe you could be the first male in the choir.
I think we need to break barriers here. That is a fun group. I have seen bits and pieces of them performing here and there, and then obviously pieces we've done through the years. They landed on a name, and boy, what fun they have.
And talent. They really brought it.
Yeah.
I loved watching them move, hearing them sing. It was great.
So look for the Heart Song Chorus.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Well, here on Crossroads, we want to stay connected with you, and one of the ways that we can do that is if you stay connected to us. If you have any ideas for stories or want to comment on anything you've seen here on Crossroads, you can email us at crossroads@nwes.edu. That's crossroads@indwes.edu. And if you prefer mail, you can drop us a note at WIWUTV, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953.
Or watch past episodes. Check out all of our local programming by visiting our website. It's www.wiwutv.com. If you put the /Crossroads on there, you will go right to our most recent segments. And while you're on the web, check out social media, our Facebook and Twitter pages, where you always get a behind-the-scene look at some of the things we're doing between programs and behind the scenes and where we're shooting. Lots of things going on. Facebook.com/WIWUTV, and follow us on Twitter at WIWUTV. And we're just looking at the programming schedule. We've moved out of high school football season and we're jumping heavily into basketball season, if you can believe that. IWU basketball, volleyball, soccer are all still wrapping up, and boy, sports, local sports, it's right there for you.
It has gone by so fast.
So you got to check
ready.
the schedule. You got to check the webpage often to sort of find out what's next.
Yep, and I'm ready for basketball season. I love basketball, so
Yeah.
bring it on, bring it on.
We've got some pretty good company around here, both in Grand County and in the state. Well, for everyone who's worked on this show, meanwhile, I'm Randall King.
And I'm Shaylee Clark. The Crossroads of Life bring people together, and that's what we try to do here each week.
Thanks for watching, everyone. So long.
Your community station, WIWU-TV.